Hey guys and girls, it's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. We have the 4-string Ibanez back on the bench today. We're going to finish it up. All we got to do is clean the fretboard, dress the frets, and oil the neck. We're going to restring it and do a complete setup on it. We put new tuners on it yesterday. Previous video, it's downloading. You'll see it very soon. Let's get to work. Remember, if you dig what I'm doing, click on like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. So when we left off, we had cleaned up the bridge, the saddles, we tightened up all the electronics, we cleaned the guitar. The only thing left to clean is basically the fretboard, and I'm going to scrub it first, and then we're going to do fret eraser on the actual fret wires because they're kind of green, and we're going to clean it up after that, and we're going to oil it. And you've seen this exercise many times before, but those of you who haven't seen it, you're looking at it now. This likes to throw spooge everywhere on my clean guitar already. A little soap, and this will get all the DNA, cigarette smoke, goop, finger stuff. There's actually some stuff on this guitar. As I said, the guy got it on the cheap, but it is very nice little bass guitar. I'm going to tell you that right from the get-go. It has responded well to all the work. And this is all standard stuff. You got to start with a clean surface before you're going to start treating it and cleaning the frets and stuff. And while you're doing this, I've had comments, well, why don't you sand the frets first? Well, because this stuff is going to clean some of the gook right off of the frets. And need I say more? I love that. Who knows how many decades of goop is on there? One more time. On a guitar that's relatively new, you only need to do this once in a blue moon. If it's getting used a lot, you're leaving stuff on there, and you need to clean it off. Nobody wants a dirty guitar. A clean guitar is a happy guitar. This exercise, when you do it twice, that's why. We've been doing it this way for a million years. When you start with a clean, fresh fretboard, the oil, the linseed oil, has a chance to do what it's supposed to do. And there's a million products for oil. I know I'm going to get some comments, oh, use this product or that product. Nobody even knows what boiled linseed oil is unless you're old school. The reason I use boiled linseed oil, sorry, my head, is the wood cracks, opens up, there's little fissures in there, microscopic. Sometimes you can see them, sometimes you can't. But the boiled linseed oil will not only treat the wood and make it come alive again, but it hardens after you wipe it off. It gets in all those little nooks and crannies and grooves, and it hardens. So it's good to clean up and fill in all the little imperfections in the wood. So that's my rant on boiled linseed oil. And how do we do that? Quite simply, we apply it and then we wipe it off. And you see how dull that neck is. Just get a good look at how dull. It doesn't look bad, right? Cleaned up really nice. Wait until you see what happens when you put a little oil on it. Yeah, because wood needs to be treated. Well, a little goes a long way. That's it. That's all you need. And you wipe it on, and you go all the way up the board. And don't be afraid to get it on the fret wires. It ain't going to hurt anything. In fact, it helps a lot. Why don't you clean the fret wires before you oil it? I'll tell you why. Because this when we scrubbed it with the brush and wiped it off, that cleaned the frets. And guess what? When this oil gets on there, it's going to loosen up all that green goony goo goo mess that's on those frets. And that's going to be the next step. So they come out better if you do this in this process. Because some of that oil gets on there and loosens up the crap that's been on there for a million years. Don't be afraid to put some on there, but don't overdo it. A little goes a long way. That's it. That's how much we put on there. And we're going to let that sit on there for about 5 minutes. So I'm going to pause quickly and let it do its thing, and then we're going to wipe it off. Stand by. Okay, we're back. By the way, wash your brush after every use. All the crap that we took off of there gets embedded in there. Just a little bit of soapy water in the sink. Clean it a couple of times, scrub it, empty it. That way the next time you go to clean a guitar, it's clean. You're not taking gook from a previous job and applying it to your new job. And then we do the same thing in reverse. All we're doing is wiping it off. And it will take a couple of passes to get it off of there. Whatever stays on there after this process is what stays on there. And I said, after a couple of hours, it'll start to harden up. After a couple of days, you're going to be left with that rich, dark, you can already see the difference. It's magic. You're going to be left with that rich, dark neck. Fretboard, and that's what it should look like. That's what it looked like when it was new, and that's what it's going to look like again. One more time. I'm going to have to play with my camera angle a little bit. I notice my head gets in the way a lot because I like to get right down on what I'm working on. Let me try a different camera angle, I think, soon. Maybe. Okay. We are ready to put some strings on this thing and do a setup. Today's string of choice. Strings are personal preference. You can do trial and error, get what you like. Stay with it. I'm putting these on because they're good, average, above average strings. We're going to start at 400 grit on the frets with the fret erasers. And then we're going to go to 1,000. You can use emery cloth, but you got to use a really high number, 1,800, 1,500. You can use wet, dry sandpaper for this. Just be super careful. You're not sanding on the board. Get some of these tools. Okay, and this is just to pull the tarnish off of basically the crown of the fret. You can see the difference already between the gooked up ones and the ones that are cleaning. And this is just the first pass. Like I said, I'm going to use a 400 grit. It says 400 right on it. You can see the difference in those. Right there is where we stopped. And you see the shine on it already. This is the dirty one here. This is the clean one. Oops, sorry. This is the clean one. This is the dirty one. So we're going to do that all the way up. And it makes it for a smoother tactile feel when you're playing. This is an important step. I'm going to pause because I have to do them all with the 400 and then do them all with the 1000. And then we'll be right back. So stand by. Yahtzee. Nice and clean, shiny. Fretboard is treated. The wood and the frets have been dressed and cleaned. Is that all? You could go much farther on frets. You can really go nuts on frets, but when you're doing a refresh on a guitar, that's what you do. The fret erasers, or as I said, you can go to Home Depot, any big box store, and get wet dry sandpaper. In other words, it can be used for wet sanding automotive paint or any kind of paint for that matter. Or you can use it dry, but you want to get like 1500, 1800, and then you use the same tool like this to protect the fretboard, and you just fold that stuff up and you work it the same as you do with the fret eraser, and it'll do just as good a job. The reason you use a much higher on the sandpaper is because the fret eraser has got a lot of, well, eraser in it. So it's not all sandpaper. You want to use a much higher number with, I don't like that. Right away, I can tell that is not big enough. We're going to, see, you never know what you're going to run into. We're going to have to file out his, where are my files? We're going to have to file out his nut slot. Yep. Must have had really small strings on it. And that is where your string will catch. Hear that? It's catching right there. I think maybe the bottom is fine. It's I think it's the top that's catching. Let's just see. I'm going to need to open that up with a different file. Okay, where are you at? What kind of files do we have to work with? I'm going to try a small triangular file first. Get my better glasses on for this. Okay, my head may be in the way, but what we're doing is we're trying to widen out the nut slot goes like this to accept the string. It needs to slide back and forth freely through that. It looks like the bottom is big enough, but the top is too narrow. So it was probably never cut properly, or it was designed to be used with a really light gauge string, and yeah. We're going to widen it out. Getting better. See, now it's not catching. And it sets all the way down in the slot. That's weird. I've never seen that before. Hang off of there. Make sure. Oh yeah. See, now it slides back and forth easily. I wonder if we're going to run into that problem some the next one and the next one. We'll see. See, you never know what you're going to run into. So all we did was use a little, it's not a rat tail, it's a triangular file, and you have ever so carefully open up like this, because the string needs to be able to slide over the saddle. And in here, when you're fretting notes, you don't know it, but that string is actually moving like that here and down here at this point. It needs to be able to move freely. Not a lot, imperceptible while you're playing. You don't realize it, but you certainly don't want it catching in the nut slot. It's going to live here. I'm going to go one full. These are a long ways away, so I'm going to one and just a little bit more. Yeah. We'll snip her off. If it's too much, I'll cut it even shorter. I was hoping that would go right in the garbage pail, but you know that never happens. Well, I said it about a month ago. I've never found a tuning peg that this thing didn't work on easily. Doesn't like these. But we'll make it work. I have another one. And remember, make sure all your wraps go down towards the headstock. Don't let them go willy-nilly overlapping each other. You want your break angle. And at least 2 wraps. Working on the third one. Let's try the A string and see what that gives us. Same problem. We're going to have the same problem all the way through on this one. Stand by. I'm going to sand all these down just slightly. You don't need to see that entire process. I'll be right back. Yeah, weird. The E and the A so far needed to be opened up. A little bit farther. In the saddle, 2 wraps, nice break angle. Let's see what happens. See, I already pulled out the next files I might use. Let's see what happens with the D string. We'll be checking this out together and see what happens. I'm not sure. Not sure. That one needs to come out slightly. It's weird because it's like the bottom is cut out more than the top. I'm getting down to where my little triangular file will not get in there, but okay, that's good. Like that. Same thing, same process. 1, 2. Come on, Luch, you can do it. Might have too much on there. Okay. Might have too much string. Or it's because the string came off on me. I don't like these 2x2. I'm a Fender headstock guy. Get in there and stay in there. You. There we go. That looks better. Alright, we're going to be happy with this. Sure am not going to be. And that is a 50. That's a 65. I'm going to open it up a little bit. Composite nut in there. And it's pretty hard. Let's see. All you gotta do is open up the very top of it, because the bottom, it looks like it's the right size. I'm gonna go with just a little bit smaller. Yeah. We don't want to cut it any deeper. We just want to be able to get over the edges. Maybe it shrunk, I don't know. Who knows? You never know what you're going to run into. Get back in there and stay. Come on, you can do it. Yup. Beautiful. Nice brake angle. Boy, this tool really does not like those type of tuning machines at all. It would not get all the way in there. I found one that it doesn't work on. Go figure. All right. A little selection of files that we had to use today. Let's get her tuned up. Get some string tension on it, and then we're going to start taking some measurements. D, where are you? Remember, we had the neck in a straight condition, so this could put some, hopefully we'll get lucky and it'll put just the right amount of neck relief in it. Stretch them. Standard operating procedure. Get over there. Okay, let us check. Here's the big reveal to see where our neck relief is, because I had it straight. Yeah, we need to put some more. We need to bring it up. It's too loose. We got too much of a banana in there. We need to ratchet it up. Let me find the right tool, which I believe on this one is a 4 as well. Yeah, this one's really tight too. So left is loose to put more right. This left is going to put more banana in it. To the right is going to actually straighten out the neck, and that's where we need to go, to the right. You may have to loosen some strings and get enough turn on this, because it's a really tight. Get the A string out of the way to get some swing on it in this direction. Come on, you. I pulled some of it out. Cooperate a little bit here, you. Well, I'm going to tighten up the A string and measure it again. Stand by. So this is always fun, the truss rod gambit. Capo at the first fret, hold the body joint, and you're going to check around the 7th fret, the 8th fret, and it's better, but I still want more. And this is not uncommon. You will run into this from time to time. It depends on how sturdy the neck is to begin with. We still need to take some of that relief out. We want it to be straighter. So another crank on the truss rod. Well, we should be able to get a good turn on it this time. Yep. That felt good. And that looks much better. Could be too much. I may have put too much straightness into it. And it's important to, every time you make an adjustment, make sure that your string tension is at pitch or at half step or wherever you tune your guitar, because the string tension works against the truss rod to keep it in equilibrium. I know that sounds a little counterintuitive, but there's a lot of string tension on these instruments. That should get it. I think that is perfect. Now, as long as we don't, it's a little too tight for my liking, but yeah, that's irritating, isn't it? No buzzing. Let's plug it into a guitar amp or a bass amp. I gotta get a different thing. This thing is really wonky. It makes a lot of noise. Don't like it. Let's see what it sounds like. Wow. Sorry, not in the movie. Wow, punchy bass. Really punchy bass. We're going to call that a win. I'm going to check the string height real quick. Let's shut the amp off. Really punchy bass. I'm almost becoming a fan. I like the sound of that. Let's check our string height and our intonation because we can. And we should. 5, 5, 5. Man, I'm good. So, the last thing I want to check is my intonation, which is the distance between here and here. And remember, we had all the saddles apart, so it would not surprise me if the intonation is off. E, dead on. Harmonic, dead on. Wow, I can't believe I got that. Harmonic at the 12th. Dead on. Dead on. Oh, there we go. We got one that's flat. That means it's too long. We gotta loosen that one up. 3 out of 4, perfect. We gotta loosen this one. We want to make it shorter, so if we loosen it, it should pull up. Yeah, there we go. And that's your intonation that we're sending, which is the distance between here and here. If it's sharp, it's too close together. The distance is too short. If it's flat, it's too far away, which is where we were. And I'm telling you, it was flat only by half a cent. We're dead on. This guitar responded so well. I'm really happy with the way things came out. I'm going to give it to him. I'm going to let him play it. I like the where the truss rod is sent. We have just enough neck relief in there. The intonation and the string height, nothing's buzzing. This guitar is ready to roll, and I mean it's ready to roll. Yeah. It's got nice close action. No buzzing anywhere on the neck. So when you set them where they're supposed to be, this is how they respond. This guitar is done. We're going to call this one a win. Thanks for playing along, guys. Ibanez 4-string. Guy bought it out of some, I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but he literally stole his guitar. Where am I when these deals happen? Really nice instrument. The only thing we didn't fix, and I'm going to remind you, is this little thing right there. And I'm not about to get into that unless he wants me to source him out a new battery box. But all the electronics are working. Everything came together on this guitar nicely. We put everything on it that it needed, cleaned it up, and it's ready to rock. 396 guitars. If you dig what I'm doing, like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. We're in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. 396guitars.com. You can call me anytime.